Cyberpunk, man. The what you call it, the Phantom Liberty expansion is out. With a shout out to CD Projekt Red, providing IP codes for the latest expansion, so we can take a look and see what's going on. Just want to quickly break down for those who've been living under a rock as far as what feature set has been offered. Obviously, it's been the update 2.0 and the expansion, and the update 2.0, which was a free update. So redesigned skill trees and perks, revamped cyberware and new capacity system, vehicle combat and car chases, combat AI improvements, new police system, UI and UX improvements, loot item and crafting changes, new radio stations, including community radio station Growl FM, and then obviously we got the Phantom Liberty, that paid expansion. We got our man Idris Elba, aka Stringer Bell, for those who know why he's doing this thing, and Dogtown, dangerous new district in the game, brand new storyline and characters, new quest, gigs, boss fights, and more, vehicle missions and airdrops, endless dynamic events, all new relic skill tree and abilities, 100 plus new items, weapons, cyberware, cars and fashion, vehicle missile launchers, and the level cap increase to 60. So this thing has gone out. It's getting, fairly positive reviews from what I'm seeing, most of it. And I know we've played a bit, but I don't want to do the impressions. I do want to take it a different direction, which is kind of like, obviously we know the history of Cyberpunk. We've all seen this. This is a game, at launch, the multiple consoles, past generation, current generation, performance, let's be honest, pretty much dragged to the point that, remember, this was a game that was delisted at one point from the PlayStation Store. So with everything that's going on now, and obviously this is an update as well as next gen only and stuff like that, for those who played it, whatever your impressions are, but is this the redemption arc for Cyberpunk? So let's start with Lord Addict. What are your thoughts, babe?
I think it is. I think, they went back and they've done enough. Now, the argument on should they be forgiven for releasing the game in the state it was, that's a different argument. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they did go back and fix the condition of their game, at least. Now, if you guys still are on this, I ain't going to buy it because I don't feel comfortable supporting the type of practices that they did, releasing the game that was in that kind of condition. I could feel that. But as far as like this DLC, the patch 2.0, I do feel like if Cyberpunk would have came out in this condition at launch, then we could really give them 100% props. But I can never really give them 100% of that. It's like, look, you fixed something that should have been fixed from day one. That's cool. The game is a solid experience, and I'd recommend you guys go play it. But for me, as myself, I'm still a little half and half on like recommending someone to, because my thing is like, even though they went back and fixed it, it's like, to me personally, it's like Lord Addict co-sign telling people to buy it when it's at that point where it's like, does that reward bad behavior, or is that reward good behavior because they fixed it? Or could you consider that it should have been fixed from the start? So like you can't really reward good behavior because it was already because it initiated and originated from bad behavior. I don't know. But all in all, is Cyberpunk is pretty fun. Like it's a good game.
So you've been feeling it because you haven't played since you kind of stayed away from it, I'm assuming, and then now with the Phantom Liberty, you kind of going back.
Oh, I haven't played it since week 1.
Oh wow, so you stayed away completely.
Yeah, I dropped it because I had like some like game breaking issues, but I didn't have as many issues as other people, but I did have some issues, and I just dropped it waiting for a patch, and then game came out, another game came out, another game came out, and then it just completely forgot about it. It's a fun experience. It is. You could talk about I think more of the moral guide where it's like, do you support this considering they released it in the state they did, especially like last gen? I don't know. That's what for you guys to decide. Right. I feel like studios do deserve second chances, but that's going to go from person to person.
I feel that. And a quick question, because when you started Phantom Liberty, they give you the option to start immediately from where the new DLC is, or do brand new with all the update point to, from the beginning, and then let it integrate naturally. Which way did you go?
I went start brand new.
Brand new. Okay, yeah, because
I hadn't played the base game, so it would make no sense for me to be like, yo, let me jump in there in that Liberty. Like,
I fear that. Fair enough. Lord Sovereign, Cyberpunk. You know, obviously we know the history. You know, and obviously we know where they are right now. Seems somewhat positive reviews on Phantom Liberty. Where are you at with this whole thing? Has Cyberpunk earned a redemption arc for you?
Yeah, I think 100% it has. You know, regardless of how the state that game came out in, the devs, the people that work hard on that game for years and years and years, knew full well that game should not be coming out, and that decision was not theirs to make. Right? It was made by people above them, and they had to deal with the fallout of it. They had to deal with all the BS and people blaming them and pointing the finger at them. And it's not really the way it is. But at the end of the day, everybody has their bosses, everybody has their masters, and they say, it's got to come out. It's got to come out. And they dealt with the fallout of that and then continue to work on the game. Now, this is 3 years later. It's the 2020 game that came out. And they're still, you know, this is going to be it for it, right? And the fact that they went in and basically redid everything. And then in addition to Phantom Liberty being attached to it, I just think you have to, you know, it's a certain point in time you have to say, okay, I'm going to give this game a chance now. I bought the game day one, every intention of playing it. I bought it on PC. Actually, I bought it on console as well. I had, and then you know, the stuff started coming out, and because of how bad the conversation around it was, I was like, you know what, let me just not right now.
I didn't want to do it to it like that.
I want to be clear too that we did get review access to this. They did send us
I said that. I was transparent from the joint to let them know. Again, shout out to CD Projekt. Hold on. We do got to interrupt real quick. Shout out to one of the biggest Cyberpunk fans in the chat, our brother Fonzarelli Gaming. Brother, we love you. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to your dad. And again, we put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to support. You know what I mean? As far as the funeral and any of the services, I'll put the link back up in there. But that's a good brother, man. And Fonz is one of the biggest Cyberpunk fans. Like his whole chat, like even when he had the intro, I don't know if you saw, it had that kind of retro vibe, man. And hopefully, you know, when things settle down, you get a chance to game and stuff. But love you, brother. Good to see you up in here, man. We know you know what you're going through, and we really want to empathize and show our love and support to you.
Yeah.
Continue.
So yeah, I haven't played a lot of it. I threw it on because I wanted to see what these changes were and to really see how it could, how it ran on this new PC that we have. Yeah. Again, I put
you did that on
every game.
The NZXT butters?
NZXT.
You was NZXT in that joint?
Player 3 AMD edition.
AMD, you was showing off your build on that Cyberpunk the way it was supposed to be played, the way Addict's supposed to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the games I bullied them on. Yes,
to bully us.
You're playing this on PC, damn it. And it shows out. It really shows out. It is so well optimized. Again, every time I put in a new game, I turn off all sort of FSR. I turn it all off just to see what the PC can do. And then if it's like hiccuping and having some issues, then I turn on some of the
try to flex,
bring down the resolution or whatever. But no. At 4K with ray tracing. I didn't turn on path tracing. I'm gonna try that to see if it buckles the computer.
That's what that path tracing.
But full ray tracing at its highest. I have it on ultra settings, running beautifully at 60. This game is still an absolute showpiece. This game running on a PC of that caliber, with all the new bells and whistles, all the optimizations they made to that game. It is really something to behold.
No, I'm sorry.
And it really, it's a showpiece. And the fact of the matter is that everything that was wonky about the game, they went in and changed, and they redid. And they say, you know what? Don't go in with your spec'd out character. Start a new game. Trust us. Start a new game. So I've only played a couple of hours of it just to kind of get the feel for it. And it feels like it's going to be a special experience. Obviously, I was anticipating this experience 3 years ago. I'm going to figure out a time to play it. But I don't know how it runs on a ROG.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
But honestly, okay, you'll talk about that. Honestly, though, I kind of wanna. I'm kind of being selfish. I'm like, I don't want to play it on anything other than
I'm gonna be real with you.
the big boy.
Yeah, it's such a showpiece that, like, don't get me wrong. If I'm on the go and I'm gonna do it, but that, I'll talk about when it's my turn. But I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Yeah, but that was it though. I haven't played that much of it, just enough to see that yeah, they've really done the work. So I think they deserve the credit, man. You think about like a No Man's Sky, they went in there and they still to this day are working on that damn game. So they've had like a decade long mea culpa.
Yeah.
So to me, when it comes to devs going in and fixing a game and knowing that the state the game came out in affected their reputation immensely and it kind of not being their fault, I'm always going to give the devs the benefit of the doubt. And this feels like it was like, obviously management realized what it did to them.
Yeah.
And the devs are now getting the shine they should have gotten instead of the ire that they received. So I'm happy for them. I would say go out and buy this game, and you can find it. It went up in price when Phantom Liberty came out, right? Because you could have found it for $20, the base game anyway, for weeks prior to that. And all of a sudden it jumps back up in price, but it's still 100% worth it because there aren't too many games that look like this at all. Yeah. So go out and get it. If you waited, now is the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. Lord King, someone who's stayed away. I remember during the height of the drama, it was everywhere. And you were pretty staunch on that. But now that Phantom Liberty's out, our man's is outside. You know what I'm saying? Stringer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But
one thing I can say is,
redemption
back in the days, in our time, it was a bad game ships. It's bad forever. This time now, a game can ship bad, but turn good over a period of time.
Right.
Looking at you, Arcane. Get back to Redfall. CD Projekt Red has been really good at that. If a game has problems, through patches, through free patches, mind you, they don't charge for the upgrade because these upgrades and stuff, these DLCs. Now they charge for this DLC. Which is a little departure from what they did with the Witcher, but I think with the Witcher was more of a mea culpa, for that. This one, they felt that they had a good game, and I think they was pushed out by board to reach unexpected shipment goals, and that affected the overall value of the product because if it's a diminished product going out, it's going to have a diminished value. And I think now it's at a higher value with the Phantom DLC and Ildris and you being able to start the game with all that in place from base.
Yeah,
they did a lot of quality of life things.
Yes.
And if you're part of that world, they gave you more.
Yeah.
Right. When unexpectedly that you didn't know that you was going to get this more. That's not even the DLC part. I'm just talking about the free
update 2.0 is fire on its own. Absolutely.
The game starts to look like what they envisioned. I hope it has the No Man's Sky success because No Man's Sky was ridiculed at launch for not fulfilling whatever goals and stuff that they set forth. But now you look at No Man's Sky and you're like, wow, this game went so far because of the love and passion behind the developers that are willing to go back in there and to deliver on their promise. So I'm never going to say to a publisher right now with the unrealistic goals of the board is forcing you to do things, but you're still willing to stay there in the mud and get out a game that you can say that you're proud of. So my hat's off to you guys. The game is phenomenal and keep grinding. Excellence speaks for itself. A lot of companies don't do it. A lot of companies leaves a broken game. And I think, more companies should back their product and try to drop at what they initially expected because Cyberpunk was supposed to be the game of a generation.
Facts.
Right? So for it to fall short of those lofty expectations, I mean, and for them to go back and work on it, you just got to take your hat off to them.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, this is definitely feel like a full circle kind of arc. I remember saw E3. I think this was ILP's first media when we went solo. We went back solo, and it was E3, I think 2019, maybe? I can't remember.
Yes, it was
And
2019.
I had LogNet's first. That was LogNet's first big behind the scenes with CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk behind the scenes showing for the first time. Then me and you interviewed me. It was me and you asking me questions about the game. We was out there in LA. And we got that joint up. Remember that joint? Yeah, that did good for us. That did good for Lords
That
of
did
Game.
great for us. It's a pity that that
The
wasn't
game, yeah. It's a pity that it was on the highest end PC and it wasn't representative
It
of.
was the best vertical slice
yeah,
ever made.
but when I saw it, I was just like, man, this game has so much potential. And yeah, the King's point, to me, the game looks so phenomenal. It's how I expected all of next generation to look. To me, they set the tone as far as the graphic. Now that we know the story, we know what happened, and it was disastrous. You know what I'm saying? To me, just way too many platforms. Let's be honest, past gen should have been cut out. And they, probably maybe try to chase the board.
I think that was the biggest issue.
Facts. When you trying to develop for base PS4, base Xbox One, and you had the new gen, and let's be honest, they launched right in that transition period where there's not enough install base for the thing, and the board may say, yo, we need that. And you're pushing these developers to make on this. That's why I'm so happy with Phantom Liberty. The decision to cut past gen was there. It's only next gen, and King, only SSDs. If you coming in there with that mechanical hard drive, you can't play. That is a requirement for this joint. And the difference, the difference is there. One thing I do want to give them their flowers is, and a lot of games are not doing this, and CD Projekt, I love y'all for this, is y'all cloud crossplay is the greatest feature. I want this in every game. Once you set it up once, you connect to the CD Projekt Red site or whatever it is, and it now automatically puts your saves in the cloud. So I'm going from my Series X to my Series S, then I jump on my Ally, have the game on Steam, continuing my save data. That's the future of gaming to me, and they kind of pioneered it. I don't see other games really doing this, and that really changed the game, because now I'm boom on a plane. Boom, go back. I could go, continue my save, continue exactly where I was at. Love that joint. I think that the game. Oh, I got corporate cog moment. So when I played Cyberpunk for the first time, I always did Street Kid. I'll be for the streets, running around with Jackie, whatever. So this time I'm like, I got to assume my corporate cog persona. You know what I'm saying? So I did Corporal for the first time on a new playthrough. Yo, the joint is drastically different. Drastically different. The shystiness, then the bouginess, the way I entered the game was completely different. I was up at some flying joint. I had the liquor, the wine. I had it was like I was in a flying limo, son. It was crazy. Yo, the corporate cog joint is crazy. Shout out to the cops. They agreed too. They was loving it. But Dogtown is amazing. You know what I'm saying? It looks phenomenal. You could tell they really took their time as far as just, again, the graphic fidelity, the way the game plays, all the new changes. But to King's point, 2.0 changes the game. Just the free update by itself. And the last thing I wanted to say, I think for me, why I got to give them their redemption arc, this was the key moment. And Attic, remember, this was, because we went to our first PAX together this year. But the prior year was my first PAX West. And I was out there, and they did reach out. Now, mind you, the game was not that it was in a good space, but nobody was talking about it. And I remember they were like, yo, they're doing like a screening for some Edge Runners thing, anime. And I was like, what's this? But I'm like, all right, I got time. Let me check it out. I am not going to front. That anime was so good, Addict, that it made me want to play it again. And at that time, they had, I guess, a patch 1.5 or whatever it is that really addressed core issues that everybody's like, yo, the game is playable. And then they had some Edge Runner content in the game. When Edge Runners came out, that made me want to play. I don't want to know where Adam Smasher at, where I ain't like how you know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of the best synergies to kind of get people back into the game. And I got to give them credit, man. It was really well done. So yeah, I do think that they've the conclusion part of the redemption arc. I think the game is completely playable. Go check it out. It's still one of the best looking games I feel of the generation, still to this day. And yeah, we got to support Stringer Bell, man. It's all about the Wire right now, man. What he doing? So
What are you doing? So,
yeah.
has there been recent news with them? Did they recently lay off a bunch of people?
That's a good question.
Somebody at Epic. What team?
I know Epic did.
I know Epic did.
But I think there was something because what I worry about with them is that
the Fall Guys.
Yeah, they went through.
Yeah, that was Epic. But this wasn't that recent. It was a little earlier than that. But I could have sworn they let off some people from the Witcher team, the guys that were making the next.
It's
Witcher
possible.
game.
It's been so many layoffs. Yeah.
But that's my worry with them, right? They saw the mistakes that they made with Cyberpunk. And then they went right back, and when they gave you the roadmap, they're like, "Yeah, we're making 5 Witcher games, and we're making this, and we're making that." I'm like, "Whoa, just one at a time, take it slowly." You know what I'm saying? They gave you this whole roadmap. Obviously, they're not going to work on all of them at the same time, but they did say that they were going to work on certain different titles simultaneously, right?
Right.
So it made me wonder, like, okay, what did you come up with in the ensuing last 2 years that makes you think you can be that flexible? You know. So my worry is that please learn your lesson.
Yes, please. Yes.
And the higher ups, please do not put the devs in this position anymore.
Yes.
Let them make the game that they set out to make and give them the time to make it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Because you don't want to, again, people, this is the redemption arc now has people in a great place. And you talked about the Netflix show. Yes, that also put people in a state where they wanted more Cyberpunk.
It was so well done.
Yeah, it was so well done. And then now you give them the actual game that they wanted 3 years ago. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm willing to hear you out now. Don't mess that up. But
absolutely,
buggy mess or whatever the next thing is that you're doing. Like,
no, absolutely. I think it was a teaching moment for them.
Yes.
As a studio. It was a teaching moment for the industry about rushing games and putting things out and you're not ready. And like King said, the board and whatever, you got to learn. They risk damaging their pristine brand, reputation, and name at that time. So it's so cool to see that they stuck with it. Go ahead, Attic.
If anything, that shows these other publishing developers, like, look, like, they had a solid product, but didn't give it enough time to fully develop. And it's just like, don't risk your brand and the trust of your consumers and your fans just to make a quick buck, because it's like, that's why I said, like, it's hard for me. Everything in me wants to co-sign 100% going out there, redoing the Cyberpunk stuff. But then the other part of me is like, even though it hurts the developers and I hate doing that, it's just like, there's no way you can make a statement against what they did with that without hurting someone that is in the crossfire. Yeah. But at the same time, publishers know that. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always feel it's a moral choice. And I feel like you could sit there and say, look, I cannot forgive a broken game. They did that. I'm sorry. You're not getting my money. You know what? I understand. I can respect that. I can understand that. Then I can also, I just want to say this last point. I can also understand someone saying, look, the decisions of a few shouldn't affect all the developers who worked super hard on this game and maybe were put in a position to do something that was impossible. So for me, I lean more that side, because they say thousands of people worked on the game, but this board of 5, this corporate board of 5, you know what I'm saying, made a dumb decision that cost the potential reputation of the game. So I get it. It's a personal decision.
I feel you, but I guess like my mind is like, I've been very vocal about companies producing less broken games, taking more time. And I can't shake. It's like they fixed a game that should have been like this from the start. So it's as cool as it is right now. And I do recommend playing if you own it. I can't recommend you going out and buying it, because it's just decision. Like
that's where you.
Because at the same time, it's like, then what? Like right now, what's going on with Battlefield 2042? What's going on with Halo Infinite? Like, I feel like going out and saying stuff like that is going to be like, okay, we can continue doing this because we could just fix the games later. And it's just like, the people making the money, unfortunately, that's not a lot you could do about it, because it's like you can either support the game because there's so many people working on it, but then when is the issue ever going to get fixed? Because it's like, even though they fixed it 3 years later, you paid $60 3 years ago to play this game now.
Yeah. You know what? I really do think like the big catalyst for them to really like turn around on it, obviously it was not in great shape, but a lot of people on the PC didn't have a lot of issues with it. It was the console versions, obviously. It was that delisting from the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that was the reputation hit.
So that was unprecedented.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
That really, that was...
Jim Ryan wasn't playing.
That was Jim was not playing with that one.
He's like, you ain't messing up the brand.
I'm not giving you no money back, B.
They wasn't doing. Oh yeah, because PlayStation said, "Yo, go to CD Projekt."
Talk to them.
Yo, I forgot about that. Talk to them. Yeah.
So he would rather take it off his store than look out for the consumer. He said, "You know what? None of y'all can buy this. Get this out of here now. Change the key card on this game."
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's right.
Look, that. I'm sorry. Somebody speaking?
Yeah, it's like I said. I love the game. It plays way more fluidly. The combat's cleaner. I'm rocking around with Catan. It's like everything in me wants to be like, green light. But then the other part of me's like, do we really reward for stuff fixing that they should have already realistically have?
What about the counterpoint if they never fixed it and just left it broken?
Then obviously we wouldn't even have this conversation at all. Then we would be having this conversation with The Witcher and not this game.
Right, but my point is, there's no, for you, I'm just asking a question about trying to argue with you. Is there no, what's the word? It's not forgiveness, because that's not the word. It's like
after redemption.
Yeah, like there's no redemption in a way for you, because it's like if they,
to me, a
if
redemption
they make it
would have
right.
been Phantom Liberty's free. That would have been redemption for me.
Is that free update?
We went above and beyond, and we're gonna go ahead and slide this to you free of charge because of the condition that the game was in at launch. How many people bought this on the PS4 and Xbox One? And the game was not even functioning. Like it didn't work at all. And then we got to talk about the sketchy way that they sent out review codes. Trying to silence people just talking about their experience because some people got it early. It's just like, it's such a gray area. And then you could be talking about all this, and the people responsible for all this, they're all gone. So
the 2.0 update is free, and I do remember the people. There was a lot of backlash because a lot of people that reviewed it was reviewing the PC version, and then it was like a shock. Kind of similar to the Redfall situation, right? When the console one came out, we were like, whoa, that kind of thing. So it is what it is. But again,
someone said like how Ubisoft did with the Unity DLC, giving the first free instead of charging.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes when you mess up bad, like. It's like it's 3 years too, fam. Like this ain't 6 months later. It's 3 years.
It took that long to fix. That game was busted. But
so do you think like I say they make the right decision from the jump and they cancel those and they hold the game till now? Do you think that's a scenario that would even happen? Like they hold
that
the game
would
now?
most likely be. But here's the thing: what goes on behind closed doors. And their bottom line is not my concern. What my concern is in a consumer is getting a functioning product at launch.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying that they should have done what they did.
They had to do this because they had to repair their brand. Is there a repair brand? I would say that they did offer you the Cyberpunk expansion that you did get. The Cyberpunk game that they initially
wanted to give you. Yeah,
because if they didn't fix this and put this out there, then there would have been a lot more side-eyeing for The Witcher. And it's just like, look, like at the end of the day, like it's definitely one of those gray areas. Because like I said, the people that could literally have been responsible for the reason the game came out, those higher ups, they could all be gone. But at the end of the day, should CD Projekt Red be punished for the people that left?
That's my question. That's my question.
At the same time, if we don't hold it's like when we do the review things on IGN, we don't consider an individual writer. We consider the whole entity. It don't matter how much time goes by. IGN reviewed that game. IGN gave it that score. And to me, it's like if we start playing semantics on who was there and who wasn't there, then at that point you could throw that with anything.
But it's not about who wasn't there. It's about the people who are empowered to make decisions, though. Like
Yeah.
we can't blame people who have no power what their bosses are telling them what to do, and if they're not in agreement with it, we're gonna blame them too. I can't co-sign that part.
No one's blaming them,
right? But you're saying, but I'm saying,
no one's blaming them now.
Now, but at the time, the whole studio got dragged. Every single person was CD Projekt Red, and how could you do this, CD Projekt Red?
At the same time, when you look at are we supposed to let the higher ups off then?
No, I'm not saying let anybody off. I'm just saying that there is a distinction between the people who make the decisions and the people who make the game. That's all I'm saying. There is a path to, hey, I'm not going to punish the people who are making the games if the bosses were not making the right calls.
But once again, you not punishing them means that the other side gets off scot-free.
No, I didn't pick up the joint. I stopped. I was like, I'm good until y'all get it together.
That's exactly what I
That's
said.
what King said. I was like, this is not acceptable. Again, it's a personal decision, right? Some people said, nope, I'm good. I'm playing it. I like it. PC was fine. Me, I'm like, that wasn't acceptable. So I'm good. When y'all decide to come back around and get it together, it look like we're finally here now, then I'm like, all right, I'll go check y'all out. But I think you can vote with your wallet and not support the behavior, to your point, right? Because you're like, yo, don't support the behavior. And I think that's an okay decision to make.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I felt
I mean, it was like they could try.
Something like this we're clearly not going to agree on. So I'm
not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
No,
I agree with
not at all.
everything that you're saying. I'm just saying that, some companies get a chance to have a pathway to redemption. If the board is forcing them, they have no control over that.
So, Attic, in your scenario, that does your feelings towards this translate to the next Witcher? Like, I'm not messing with you.
Here's the thing. I just don't like the way they released the game. At the end of the day, I just don't like it. And, me coming out there and saying, like, you have to earn that trust back. Now, I do, like I said, they had to release this to earn that trust back. If they didn't have released this, then I would be more, and I don't even care about The Witcher anyway, so most likely I won't be playing that. But it's just, I just don't like the practice. I don't like, suits going out there, pushing games out there to an audience that they know is broken, using, very shady reviewing tactics to make sure that people get the copies that work. It's just, I don't like it. And, I get it.
And you support it by not picking it up, right?
Didn't pick.
Yeah, you didn't rock with it, right? You stood on your square.
I'm not talking about that. That's not the debate. The debate isn't then. The debate is, should you buy now, even when they did that back then?
Right. And your point is you're not rewarding anything because even if it's a redemption arc, that's where you at. You like, I don't like what happened from the beginning. I'm good. It's in a good place. It's too late. That's where you at. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, you thinking I'm debating you. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to understand your point. You're like, even if the developer, they fix it and they do whatever, it doesn't matter because the way y'all launched it, the way y'all did that was shady and I'm good. So, and I think that's right. And Saul's follow-up question to you is because of that makes you question everything else moving forward. Like if the new Witcher come out, you like, yo, I don't know because this is what y'all did with Cyberpunk. Is that correct?
It puts me in the position where I'm like, with their games, until I get a game or two in, it's not a day one. It's just wait and see.
No,
like
that's fair.
It's no pre-order kind of thing.
That's fair.
It's like you served me a game that barely functioned. You don't get the right to demand my money the next time going around.
That's fair. And I totally, that's why I said, I always said this is a personal decision, right? And when someone does something like you good. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. that's totally fine by me. So that's what I said. We ain't disagreeing. I'm just listening to your point. Anyway, are we good? Everybody got the bars off? All right, cool. Let's get the super chats, please.